If you want to make a real difference right now, not a symbolic one, not one that lives and dies on social media, but real, tangible, long-term change, you're in the right place. Because we are not just in a moment of crisis right now, we're in a moment of choice. And in this moment, some people are spinning, some are giving up, some are falling prey to cynicism, and some are just checking out. But some of us, maybe you, are asking a better question. What can I do to make a difference right now that will actually work? So today I'm going to give you my best advice, not just from theory, but from my decades of doing the work and my 15 years of working with leaders who are really making a difference, even when it seems impossible. If we haven't met before, I'm Elizabeth Cronise McLaughlin. I'm a former human rights and Wall Street lawyer turned leadership strategist, and I've been an activist since I was 15 years old, working on everything from tiny community protests all the way up to mass mobilizations in 800 cities worldwide. I'm also the founder of the Ripple Effect Institute, where we help progressive leaders build movements that last. Our clients have organized against ICE, flipped school boards, rewritten laws, built mutual aid networks, and led through fire with strategy, not burnout. And I'm not telling you all of that to impress you. I'm telling you because we know what works. And I want you to have that roadmap too. So here's what this video is not going to be. It's not going to be another rant about how bad things are, because we all know that. It's not going to be a list of hashtags or hot takes. And it's not going to be a motivational speech to just keep going. This video right here is a strategy session for when you know you need to make a difference, but you don't know where to start and you don't want to lose yourself trying. Because in my view, the most effective leaders of change are the ones who strategize not to burn out, but to build something that lasts. So let's get into it. Let's start with the number one trap I see right now in people who are trying to make a difference. It's the thing of trying to do everything. Everything feels urgent and everything feels really personal, and every headline feels like a 5-alarm blaze. And if you're a high capacity person, which I suspect you are if you're here, you're probably thinking to yourself, if I don't do it, no one will. Or if I don't speak out, I'm complicit. Or if I don't show up and show others that they need to show up, we're going to lose. So let me say this clearly. That voice in your head is not the voice of effective leadership. It's the voice of burnout and panic. Trying to hold it all in this era is not noble. It's actually unsustainable, and it's damaging to the future that we're trying to build. Movements don't succeed because everyone does everything. They succeed because individuals do something deeply, consistently, and in coordinated effort with others. So here's my advice, and this is advice that has worked for literally everybody that we've worked with. Choose your lane. Your lane may be one or two issues right now that really call to you. One or two areas where you know you are compelled to make a difference. Go deep into those issues. Build there. And then trust that others will do the same for the things that matter most to them. We don't need martyrdom in this era. We need strategy. And we also need trust. And that means that we have to have faith in the fact that when we focus on the things that matter most to us, others will focus on the issues that matter most to them, and together we will make a collective difference. Okay, here's the second thing I want to recommend. We have to stop reacting and start consciously leading for change. Right now, so much of our activism is based on reaction. We see a headline, we post about it, we panic, we scramble, and in the process, we lose our footing. Now, I get it. Everything does feel urgent. It feels like we're losing our democracy and like every single thing is a crisis. But here's the problem. Constant reaction isn't sustainable, and it's definitely not strategic. It keeps us stuck in survival mode, and it burns us out, and it rarely leads to long-term change. I want you to think about the most powerful organizers in history, people whose names we all look toward when we think about the difference that we can make. The folks who led through the civil rights movement were not just reacting. They were planning both for immediate action and for a long-term strategy of change. They built infrastructure, they cultivated leaders, and they trained successors. They were laying a foundation so the civil rights movement could outlive any crisis. And believe me, they lived through a lot. I also want you to think about the long arc of the LGBTQ rights movement in this country. When the Stonewall Inn was raided, and the LGBTQ rights movement began in this country, it may have started at a point of crisis, but it became over time a long-term, well-built movement that covered everything from health to civil rights to marriage equality. And while for sure there were points of crisis, strategy was a key part of the efforts that achieved degrees of freedom for LGBTQ people in this country. ACT UP, for instance, when they did a die-in on the steps of the New York Stock Exchange, knew that what they were doing was not just about the current moment, but was about shifting policy with strategy. So ask yourself, when you think about your own desire to create change, where am I reacting out of fear or urgency? Where could I be leading from vision instead? Because this is the difference between responding to noise and actually building for impact. Here's the third thing, and it might be the most important. I want you to keep your eyes on the world that we're building in the future. Start building for 10 years from now. If we're only thinking about the next news cycle, we will always feel like we're behind. But movements that last, the ones that change laws and culture and history, they think in decades, not in days. The leaders of those movements are asking really critical questions, like, what do we want to be true 10 years from now? And how do we build that today? This is how we get out of urgency culture, which, by the way, is a feature of white supremacy. If we want to build a future where there is equity and care for everyone, we have to get out of that sense of constant urgency and response. This is how we win over time. So I want you to ask yourself, what am I building with my change making that will still matter in 10 years? What systems or relationships will I need to get there? And who can I build it with? And if you don't know the answer yet, that is not a failure. It's a call to start. And I want to remind you that this call to create change right now, this desire to have an impact, comes from your care and empathy for what's happening to marginalized people and to our country right now. And if we want to build the nation that we want to see, we have to keep our eyes on that future. We can't just be spinning out every single minute in response to the chaos that is being created at this moment by those in charge. Okay, my fourth recommendation really matters to me personally. I want to talk about the emotional side of this, because I know that some of you are watching this and you're thinking to yourself, I'm carrying it all, the strategy, the vision, everything that you're already recommending, the people in my own community, the weight of this. And that's really real. Because people who can accomplish big things often feel obligated to carry too much. And the truth is this: change cannot be built by one of us alone. You are not meant to create change alone. Movements are not built by superheroes. They're built by teams, by coalitions, and by ecosystems of care. So if you're exhausted and you're wondering who's holding you, you're not broken. You're maxed out. And my best advice in that situation is this: build not just what carries others, but also what can carry you. Because we need to create a bench of change agents. We need to share power, co-lead, lead with different models than the ones that we were taught that are so hierarchized, where there's someone at the top who's in charge of everything. Sharing power isn't weakness. It's actually a huge chunk of building the future that we're all here to build. And the thing about it, when you do it right, is that it creates sustainability. It means that we don't burn out before the work is done. Okay, final point that I want to make today, which I think is really important. And I've said this over and over again to our clients inside the Ripple Effect Institute and all the clients that I've worked with over the last 10 years in particular. It is profoundly important right now to do the work that you are trying to do for change where you live. Now, some of our clients are running for national office. Some of our clients are leading national nonprofits. Some of our clients are building multi-state coalitions to try to create change on a given issue. But it is really important right now to pay attention to what's happening where you live and to make sure that around you are a group of people who are like-minded, who are there to care for one another as they create change. Community matters more than we can imagine in this era. Isolation causes burnout and more stress, and it engenders the kind of fear that the folks that we're fighting against believe will stop us in our tracks. Please get in community where you live. Know who's doing the work where you live on every major issue that we're facing down right now. And make sure that if you don't know where to start, at the bare minimum, you've got people around you who can help you figure it out. Okay, so everything that I've said to you today, from picking your lane to building for the long haul to leading in community, these are the things that we teach in deep practice inside the Ripple Effect Institute. It's our sanctuary and our strategy incubator for seasoned leaders who are done with urgency and ready to lead with depth, vision, and support to create real change for future generations. If you're done holding it all alone and you're ready to build with leadership that actually lasts, I want to invite you to book a free strategy call with our team. We'll help you map your next chapter with real support for real leaders. You'll find the link to apply for that strategy call in the description below. I just want to say one final thing here. If you feel compelled to make a difference right now, I know exactly where you are, because I feel the same way every single day when I get out of bed. But I want to tell you that even if you haven't started yet and you're not sure how to do it exactly, you're not too late, you're not incapable, and you're not too small to make a difference. But you do need to lead differently right now in your efforts to create change. You need to lead with strategy, with support, and with vision that outlasts this chaos, because that, my friends, is how we will win. It's how we create our own ripple effects, and it's how we are going to get to a better future for ourselves, the people that we love, everyone who's vulnerable right now, and for generations down the line. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.